1077 GNA, Albany's #1 for new country. It's Brian and Chrissy in the morning.
Hey, this is Dierks.
Dierks!
Dierks Bentley!
Oh, my gosh.
How y'all doing? Wow, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. It's Brian.
Nice.
Brian and Chrissy, Upstate New York. You were here, gosh, when was it, Chrissy? 2018?
Yeah, that's a long time ago, man.
That's the last time, huh? Wow, it's been a while.
Yeah, you were with Brothers Osborne.
Yeah, that was our Burning Man tour. It was so fun.
That was fun.
I love playing up there, especially this time of year. Usually the weather's pretty great. How are we looking?
Oh, it looks like it's going to be perfect on Thursday.
Great.
You know, you've been here before. Do you remember SPAC as a venue?
Yeah, of course. Oh, yeah.
What do you like about it that's different maybe of all the other venues you've played at?
It's kind of like a lot of these venues are owned by Live Nation, and they're all unique a little bit, but it kind of has a uniformity to them. And that one just has a unique feel to it. It feels small, feels neighborhoody. It just has a cool vibe to it. And of course, it has a great history of bands that have played there, and also a neat little town. So, just like I said, just feels kind of like a lot of these venues are kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and this one just has that feeling of being kind of, like I said, kind of neighborhoody and enclosed, and it's just a good one to play. We always love playing there.
Are you going to be flying yourself into Upstate New York, or how? There's plenty of state park for you to land a small plane on.
Yeah, I fly my whole band everywhere, so we'll all be flying in together the day of the show, and that makes everyone gets a little more time at home and a little more time with their kiddos and wives, and everyone arrives in a great mood, ready to rock. And
awesome.
that definitely helps a lot with the getting around, for sure.
Speaking of kiddos, you got 3 children. Is it true that are you teaching one of your girls to actually fly a plane?
Well, they've all taken the controls. I own a small plane. I own not that small, a Caravan. It's a single-engine turboprop high-wing Cessna. It's what skydivers generally jump out of.
Okay.
Whoa.
And they've all flown that. They've all. If we're going to the beach or somewhere, instead of hitting autopilot, I'll let them be the autopilot, and they'll sit up front. And it's pretty straightforward. But the one I use for work, I have a sponsorship with Cessna, so that's a much bigger aircraft. And I just use that for touring, and I'm type rated in that one as well. It's a CJ4. But they all taken the helm a little bit and flown a little bit, and not something I encourage. Flying has an inherent risks, and you got to be kind of stay on top of it when you're doing it, and spend a lot of time up there doing it. But aviation is a true gift. I mean, it's just one of my favorite inventions, and I appreciate all the pioneers that made it possible for country singer to.
You're such a nice guy.
Awesome.
You're such a nice guy. He can't even talk about his own plane without thanking our the Wright brothers.
The Wright brothers.
You're just such a nice
guy. All of them.
So, is it like when you're doing that with your children? Is it like when we learn from our moms and dads by sitting on their lap and driving around in a parking lot? Like
similar?
Pretty much, yeah. The first time I had one of the kids in the plane, they're still in their car seats. I go strap the car seat and go for a little spin around the block and come back in. So they've all been there a lot,
Unreal.
So,
wow.
And then they sit in my lap and hold the stick a little bit, and then they're big enough they can just sit in the shotgun seat and keep it in the crosshairs, and they do a pretty good job.
So we're talking to Dierks Bentley, who will be up in Saratoga on Thursday. 20 years of success, 10 albums, 1 million number ones, a successful marriage, great family life. I got to ask, though, and it's always an interesting thing because your kids have, their own style and their own taste. Do they like Dad's music? Like, do they appreciate a great Dierks Bentley concert like the rest of us will?
That's funny. So, I played there tonight, and where was I? I was in Milwaukee. I was in Minnesota, rather, and I was up there dropping my son off for a hockey tournament. And a hockey camp. I just happened to had a gig the night before. It worked out great, so he was with me on the road. He watched the whole show from the side of the stage. And that's because he had some of their hockey buddies with him. Usually, if he comes out, and these days, I'll get a text message saying, "Dad, that was a great show," which means he's on his iPad back on the bus. He'll watch like the first half hour, and then he goes back to the bus.
Funny.
So they've all seen so many shows over the years. They've all got on stage and performed with me over the years. So I get it. My son loves a lot of like rap music, and then my daughters love Taylor, of course, Olivia Rodrigo, and one of my daughters is really into theater, so we listen to a lot of musical theater in the car too. So I listen to everything.
That's
I'm open
fantastic.
It's not when I get in the car, I don't have control of the stereo. I lost control of that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right, you get control of the airplane. You're not even that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I remember driving my daughter to school one day, and she always listened to this pop station. And one day she took her phone out and put on a Morgan Wallen song, and she's like, "Is it okay to listen to this?" And I was like, "Yeah." I had to kind of play it off a little bit. I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever you want to listen to." And inside I'm going, "Oh my God, yes, we're back on country.
Awesome.
Thank you, Morgan.
Yes.
Thank you, Morgan Wallen. We're back, baby."
It's so funny because I have a 13-year-old boy, and he hasn't really had any interest in country music, and he knows what I do, obviously. But recently he came to a Lainey Wilson concert with me, and he absolutely loved it. And now he wants to go see Jelly Roll, and I'm going to bring him to Dierks on Thursday. So hopefully he'll still be on that country train for a while.
That's some big shoes to follow there. I'm a huge fan of Lainey's. She's the greatest of all time, and I love Jelly Roll. I just love his story and love him as a person. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah, the genre is really in a unique place with artists like Lainey and of course Jelly Roll, and then crossover artists like Post Malone and stuff like that. It sounds like you'd be open to any and all of those kinds of collabs. I know that you've worked with Hardy, and he's written some songs and some big hits for you. So it feels like you're somewhat experimental. Are you surprised by the amount of buzz that Post Malone is getting with his forthcoming album out next month?
Not at all. I mean, I've known he's a huge country fan for a long time. I think back maybe even like 10 years ago or something, he was on a Dwight Yoakam podcast playing Merle Haggard, and I was like, this guy really loves country music, and he had Dwight Yoakam's stamp of approval early on. So, no, I'm not surprised at all, and I think he came here and kind of found his way musically. He has his finger on the pulse now. What's actually really happening with obviously Morgan and Hardy and all the guys he's working with and collaborating with. And I think that's the thing about country music that I love. It's so open. This whole town, everyone's competing, but it's always like, if someone comes out on the road with us, we give them all the lighting they want. Like my front of house, my lighting director actually said, the opening bands can use his rig. If they can beat me in my rig, then they should have my job. Give them everything. Give them the video. Give them the lighting. Give them the stage. Help them go out there and have the best night they can have to succeed for that night and for their career. Whereas other genres of music, it's very different. I went and saw a guy from Northeast, Noah Kahan, who I love. I mean, he's I'm a huge Noah Kahan fan.
Big guy, yeah.
The opening act, it was like a big wide video feed. Like there's no close up of the singer, so I couldn't even really see the singer from the building. The lights were low. It was just like, oh man, you got to blow. It's just different than other genres. People just don't know. Country's just super friendly and open and welcoming, and we just, come on over and come on, join the club. We're open to everybody.
Artists like Jason Aldean and Kid Rock have pledged their allegiance very strong to a political side. You seem to sort of play it down the middle, but I was reading an article in Rolling Stone a couple of months ago, and when you were talking about political discourse, you said months ago that you felt like there was tension, anger, and mistrust, which obviously that's what the country was and has been experiencing. Do you think that any of that will change after what happened to President Trump over the weekend?
Gosh, I hope so. I mean, I watched him walk out last night at the RNC, and it brought tears to my eyes. I mean, this is a man that missed being killed by a millimeter. I mean, literally a millimeter, a last-second head turn, and he seemed like a different person, and I don't know. I don't know what. I think there's a lot of mistrust on the other side of the deal over there, just with a lot of lies being told. And honestly, my dad passed away at 88 years old, and I watched him go from 80. He was totally fine until 85, and then 85 and down. I'm witnessing that right now with unfortunately our current president. It's just it's a very quick decline. It's like a hockey stick. It's not a linear fall off. Anybody that's had an aging parent can tell you that. I'm just surprised that he's poor guy. I wish he could just go sit on his beach chair in Delaware and just enjoy the last few months of any cognitive ability that he has left.
Absolutely. I mean, when you get to that age, I mean, even in the case of President Trump, I mean, here's a guy he literally came within millimeters
of dying,
of losing his life.
Unbelievable.
And that's got to have I've never been shot at, so I don't know, but I would imagine that's got to have a real effect on you. But he somehow seems unfazed. I mean, even watching him, like you said, at the RNC, he looked like he hadn't maybe slept in a couple of days, which is completely understandable.
Right.
But he's showing no sense of slowing down or stopping. At age 80, he's a billionaire that could be retired on a beach somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could have done that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he seemed. I thought he seemed a little
sedated.
He was still kind of maybe taking it all in, that he's living on borrowed time. You know, like, wow, this is like a second. Like, even anyone's ever had a near-death experience, you know, it could even be like a car where you almost got run off the road, or someone ran a red light and you just barely missed them. It kind of like, wow, like it's a chance to. It's a crazy feeling to go through. So, you know, I'm just so thankful that we could be living in an upside-down world right now if he hadn't turned his head a quarter of an inch. So I think for all of us, it's just like,
it's all about perspective.
Man, it's
right?
a thin veil of reality here that almost was pierced. But yeah, I do. You know, I guess I just feel so bad for Biden, because you know, if my dad had to go out there and apologize for all the times he said something, you know, instead of being there to support him as someone's declining and like, it's not your fault, you've done good, you've been a great. I mean, we were with my dad, just giving him positive affirmations. Like, it's been, you know, instead these guys having to go on tour and tell him it's like, I'm at fault, I'm to blame, I'm the bad guy, it's my fault. Like, geez, somebody's like, specifically a spouse, needs to step in and be like,
exactly,
it's time to enjoy the few remaining months of your life.
And you wonder if the people around him are just, you know, are they encouraging him to stay there, or is someone saying, and he's so bullheaded that he doesn't want to get out? Like, I'm not really sure what that is, but someone. Well,
it's kind of out of his hands at this point. Mentally, it's your spouse. I mean, I told my wife, I hope she's there for me.
Mm-hmm.
When it's time to go, please just like take me, even though I won't be able to tell you, just take me just put me out the pasture and let me enjoy my grandkids and my remaining days of cognitive ability.
Mm-hmm. And certainly, like, this if this question seems uncomfortable, you don't have to answer it. It's totally fine. But would you ever sort of announce your political allegiance? You don't have to say what it is, but is that something that you would ever feel comfortable sort of going public with?
No, I think people probably have a sense of it, but it's just not really my role. Is like, I mean, I'm old school in that way. I mean, I vote and I'm very patriotic and I have my feelings, but as far as the show goes, I think when I go watch a concert, you know, it's not the shut up and sing thing, but it's like, I'm going there with my wife or I'm taking a kid to a show. Just do your thing, man. Play your show. Don't make it too long. Don't make it 3 hours. I know you can play for 3 hours. Yay for you. I got about an hour and a half here to spend. I want a great opening band. I want great energy. I want the singer to come out there and rock for an hour and a half and put their heart and soul into it. And I don't want to phone it in. But at the same time, you don't need to be going off on other tangents. Do your job, because that's why we're here. You know, that's the bandwidth in my brain that you occupy. You're the singer that sings the song "Drunk on a Plane," and that's what we want to hear. And don't mess it up. So I wouldn't want to like. That's not my role. Some guys really get into that, and that's the lane they've carved out for themselves, and that's awesome too. But no, mine's more. That's not really what I do.
Yep. And I don't know. I believe we may have met when you were here in 2018, but it was very brief.
It seems like such a eons ago because of the pandemic and stuff.
But I do want to say this: it is rare that somebody as successful and popular as you has never had a bad thing said or written about them. Like, I tried to dig up some dirt on Dierks. Right. Are you always a nice guy? And when was the last time that you were actually Dierks Bentley?
Dierks Bentley. Dierks Gently is the other name.
Dierks Gently.
Dierks Gently. Yeah, that's. I think John Osborne might have come up with that from the Brothers Osborne.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The Hot Country Nights, when they come on stage at the end of our show, they refer to me as Dierks Gently.
Do they do that because are you passive aggressive? Is that your nature?
No. I'd say the one time I remember I was opening for Kenny Chesney. I was on the road with Kenny, and that was my first time being on a big tour. For me, I'd just been playing bars for years, and I lived in my cowboy boots and my jeans. I mean, I don't think I ever took those off. I just would rock until 3 o'clock in the morning, and then pass out, wake up around some other time, and play another show. So I was on tour with Kenny. Well, Kenny's outside in the sun all day long. He's got a lawn chair, and he's in his bathing suit. And I was like, damn, I need to get on, okay, this is, I guess, how you do it. So I went to Walmart to get a lawn chair. And I just, I didn't have any money. I was just starting off, and I just wanted one. Well, everything there was like you had to buy them in sets of 2. I know this is a random story. Sorry.
No, go.
And so I'm at the counter. I'm like, I just want one chair. They're like, well, you have to buy both. I'm like, I don't want both. I want one. And this lady and I started going back and forth at the counter. You know, I was getting pretty pissed. And this other lady looks over and goes, aren't you Dierks Bentley? And I was like, yes, I am. And you know what? I think I will get 2 chairs. I realized I lost the right to be a jerk in public. So I take it out on my kids at home. That's why I use them. I voice my frustration on them. But in public, I tend to be pretty.
You have to be, right?
I love it. Well, if we see you at the Walmart up in Saratoga Springs, we'll know. Don't mess with Dierks Bentley.
Hey, I'll get the other chair. We'll go halvesies.
I'd love to see you guys at the show, and I'd love for your kid to come back and say hi, so I can continue the country music.
Oh my God, I would love that.
Keep turning on to it. So
all right, yeah.
Let's make that happen.
Well, listen, fly here safe.
Yes, be safe.
Keep doing what you're doing. 20 years of just positivity, terrific energy. It's going to be an awesome, beautiful night in Saratoga Springs with a legit superstar, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet in country music. Yes, sir. We can't wait for Dierks Bentley Thursday night at SPAC.
I'm so excited to be there, and the number I called you on is my cell phone number, so just take it down, and if I can do anything day of the show for anything, just let me know.
Oh, my God. You're the best,
How
man.
are you even saying that right now?
So
you
nice
don't mean that. You don't mean that.
I mean that. Yeah.
No, you
Imagine
don't.
I'm like, hey.
I absolutely 100% mean that.
Oh, my gosh. You're awesome.
Dierks,
we love you.
Thank you very, very much. Please get here safe. We can't wait to see you on Thursday, our friend.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Have a
Dierks
great
Bentley.
day.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
I had to add that in there because I was like, oh, he's got to come to the Dierks show.
What a
So
nice
now I got to ask
guy.
Ryan if he can come.